let's go.
Oh my gosh. All right, hang on.
All right.
Made it in time.
Yes. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Talk Heathen. I'm Eric.
And I'm Jamie.
And
we're heathens.
Yeah, this is episode 5 of season 2. And today is, what day is today, Jamie?
Today is a fantastic day because it is February 11th.
Oh, very nice. I had to check.
Yeah,
I did.
I didn't say that in a long way because I was remembering. I did that just for flourish.
Now I know. Jamie, people have been asking, where the heck have you been? It's been 3 weeks, man. You left me alone last week.
What?
Last weekend, I was just like, what
I
happened?
didn't do the joke I was going to do. I was going to say, oh, it's February 4th. And then you were like, no, it's not. And we're like, yeah, right? That's the... And just play like there'd been a time warp for me, or I was confused about the... Like, my perception of time was at half speed.
Jamie is back.
Back in black.
So what is new, man? We haven't talked to you or heard from you in 3 weeks.
Well, in the now tradition of what's new with Jamie, I've got more bad personal news. Because now I need to find a place to live, a new place to live in the next 6 weeks. And
nice.
My parents, when we moved out of my childhood home, were fantastic parents and gifted me, basically a third or a fourth of the furniture that was in the house that raised 3 kids. And, my sisters got fourth and they took like a fourth maybe.
So.
And now I need to move to a place with equal or lesser rent. Very quickly.
Oh man, dude.
So if you would like to pay for
they can't.
some stuff.
100% of the proceeds from here goes to the atheist community of Austin.
I'm going to do some self-promoting. If you want to come by, that's way closer to the truth than I'm comfortable with.
Watch us wither away.
I know. Let us know if you'd be willing to do matching donations to us and the ACA.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Both of them from you. Just give me your PIN number. Just give me your... No.
Don't trust him with it. We are considering doing...
We have no morals, right? So.
Twitch, maybe, but that's not ACA, so we're going to have to talk about how we can talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the established rule of I have a Twitter at @reason_evidence.
That's right.
You are on a social media.
Yeah.
You did a social media.
I did it like 4
He found
times.
an internet. He did an internet. Right? He's connected to the tubes.
It's wonderful.
We've got him. We've got him now.
I talk into the monitor and I'm not hearing anything back yet. How do I, I just...
Oh, you mean the square?
Yeah.
That's...
It doesn't talk back.
Sorry, I'm trying not to think of the episode of, the first episode of the IT crowd at the end where they're like, oh, we installed a voice-activated system.
That's right.
And he's just like, hello computer.
I was thinking...
Hello, computer. He's talking to the mouse.
I was thinking Zoolander. The files are in the computer. How do we get them out?
Yeah. But you didn't say that you were on Instagram or that you're... Eric the Heathen.
Yes, I am Eric the Heathen.
And I am Jamie the Heathen on Instagram.
Get back to you eventually.
And I'm Purdy.
I'll be more likely to get back to you in time, but...
Well, I mean, yeah.
It is what it is, right?
I'm tempted to set up a spoof Twitter account for you just to force you to have one. I'm so close to doing that.
So I do actually want to talk about a couple emails that we got in. We got a couple really, really awesome questions and comments. This is, I don't know if you saw the last episode, but we had somebody call in that wanted to ask advice about how to talk to their sister. And
was that towards the end?
No, it was at the beginning, or middle. She wanted advice on how to talk to her sister, who is very religious, and she has nieces who are just, I think, about to start catechism.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
We had people saying, don't spend so much time on talking to your sister, talk to the kids. And I don't agree with that. I think that if you can preserve a relationship, you should. And I didn't dig
That's
that
how I
so much.
default to all relationships.
We had a message from somebody saying that we don't meet the definition of heathen, right? That by their dictionary, heathens are
Is it a
generally polytheistic.
proscriptive?
But
dictionary?
you know what? I like our
No,
show name,
it is a slur, what it was seriously a slur along the lines of heretic, but heretic is you believe the same religion as me wrong.
Well, and
Heathen was like, oh, those non-Christians.
well, and in the King James Bible it says, "Take your slaves from the heathens among you."
Yeah.
And
You know, if English was good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me.
amen. You ready to get to calls?
No, I was cutting you off because I'm rude, not because I was...
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So we have Mary. Oh, you good?
Yeah,
We're good.
We'll take
Mary in Kiss Me, Florida. How are you doing, Mary?
Good. How are you, Eric and Jamie?
We're doing good.
Marvelous.
What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I started becoming an atheist recently, and
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I wanted with your
woo!
advice for I want to be more open to people about it, but at the same time, I have fear too.
Sure.
There's not much support, you know.
No, it was a lot of feeling like I didn't have a lot of that support for a long time too. Are you in a position where you're safe to be an out atheist?
Yeah. Because we get... Yeah, we get calls from like teenagers that are still living in their parents' house, and it's sort of, you know, there are religious parents that kick their kids out of the house for less.
Or people whose bosses are super religious, and if you were an out atheist, you'd run the risk of getting fired or something. We wouldn't want that to happen.
Well, no, I'm careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Yeah. I have one friend that is an atheist, and he's been supportive, and he told me about meetup groups, and we have gone to some.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, and I went to a chat of, he told me to chat out.
Yeah.
He put me the Computer for Recovery from Religion.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's a good organization.
Wonderful. Did you call in, do the hotline project?
I went on the chat.
Okay.
With the,
Oh, cool.
And I started reading 2 atheist books.
What have you read so far?
Yeah.
I'm still reading them.
Right.
It's Christopher Hitchens' God is Not Great, How Religion Poisons Everything. And
That's a
also
good
the other one is the
Manual for Creating Atheists.
by Peter Boghossian.
Jinx.
Yeah.
The God Delusion by Dawkins is another really great one.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah. I got that from my friend for his birthday, and some other books of Christopher Hitchens, and he told me he'll let me borrow it later. Yeah.
Nice. So if you want to talk to somebody as well, the Recovering from Religion Foundation doesn't just do a chat line. They also do a hotline that you can call free of charge. It's 184.
Oh, okay.
It's 184. I doubt it. And the people are amazing. I got to volunteer with them for a little while, and they also have a ton of great resources. It sounds like you've got some awesome resources, but for any of you who are watching that don't, give them a call. They're really useful.
Yeah.
So no. So you're asking about advice on how to be an out atheist? Like what situations?
Well, my dad is supportive.
Oh.
Well, like, my dad is supportive of one of my friends here in Florida, the one that is atheist. And I have another friend from Massachusetts. I think he's supportive, but I don't know yet. He's religious, sort of. In a way, some ways, and I have some other friends that are religious, and my family, they're all religious. So, I guess I feel like the outcast of the family.
Unfortunately, that's the... Yeah. Does your family know that you don't believe?
No, I only told my dad, and I tried to tell my my mom and my aunt, and they just like ignore me, like they didn't pay much attention.
Yeah.
And
That
and some friends that are very religious, they were not supportive. They were like, "We got everything, we got nothing. You're with the devil." You know, they sounded like, you know, and that they were gonna pray for me to believe again and that kind of thing.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
How recently did you come out to them, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I told them by text. I haven't talked to them.
Oh, this
It's
is
like
okay.
I have some contacts. I communicate with most people by text because they're always busy. And
2018.
Yeah.
yeah, and then they kind of distance themselves. I noticed, and I kind of distance myself too because I don't want to, you know, keep trying if they don't have interest, you know. But I see like how they change, you know, sort of.
Yeah. So,
You know, like texting often and then texting less.
Yeah. The meetup groups that you've gone to, was it a good fit? Like there are different sort of styles and, you know, like personalities and groups that form. Some are more like, we all love science and we happen not to believe in God. And some are, let's all step on a picture, let's all step on crosses as we walk in the door.
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Or we're all really sarcastic atheists, so we're putting up satanic.
Oh yeah, those ones are the worst.
Those are actually fun.
I went to three.
No, it was
I went to three. I only went to three.
I do actually want to call attention to our flying spaghetti monster that we have here in studio.
Oh yeah.
And
Muhammad.
Muhammad.
I thought it was a joke. My friend told me, and I'm like, no, you're making that up. I thought he was trying to be funny, but he told me it's really. I didn't
oh no. We are running the risk of getting in a lot of trouble by having Muhammad depicted here. So
Well, technically, I mean, it's not the prophet, it's just a cow.
there are no pictures of the prophet. That could be exactly what the prophet looked like.
Well, is it an attempt? Are you? I was holding back on Islam because there are people that are like, well, don't. I mean, they wouldn't stop me, but they're like, yeah, because I want to get firebombed in the library or whatever. But
Okay.
that's
so,
good. Sorry, we're getting
Mary,
off topic.
So my best advice to you is live a life that makes you happy. The fact is they will have as much power in your life as you let them have. And so by continuing to push for what makes you happy, by continuing to read what you want to read and do whatever hobbies that you want to do, that's going to make a bigger impact because they're going to see that you're not just waiting for their approval. But the longer that happens, the more they get to know that you're still the person that they love. The more that they'll recognize that this is just a part of you, and that's okay.
Thank you. I since I became atheist, I feel like at peace with myself because it's hard to like try to be something you're not, and you feel miserable when you're being something you're not, you know, to please others, and you're not happy at the end. Yeah.
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 okay.
So I would say, are you? One of the reason I was asking about the meetup groups you went to is I was trying to gauge whether you felt like you had a kind of community there in person, or how much you like going out and doing things. Some people are homebodies, is a phrase I've termed, which is just they like to stay in, watch Netflix, and some people like to go downtown and, you know, paint the town red and then, you know, get arrested for vandalism because everything's painted red. And so it can be trickier trying to find people in person. There's lots of things online because that's, you know, a safer place to go. But I'm not sure where you are as far as wanting to have a group of people you can have a drink with or play Yahtzee with.
Yeah, I'm very interested.
Yahtzee is a good game. No, I'm joking.
No,
sorry.
Okay. So
my sarcasm is far too.
He will drive way into the weeds. It's okay. You just keep talking, and he'll rejoin you.
Yeah, I've got four-wheel drive, so the weeds don't.
Yeah,
me.
don't worry about it. He's just gonna drive off.
So That's funny.
I actually think.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I don't want to feel like we've cut off in the middle. Obviously, you can call back again, but is there anything else you wanted to talk about right away? Or?
No, I'm glad I called, and I appreciate it, and it was very good advice. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you called too.
And I enjoyed talking to you guys. Yeah.
Well,
fun.
keep in touch. Email us. Our email is
mail@talkheathen.com.
You can also get a hold of us at
Facebook at Talk Heathen.
You can get a hold of Jamie at
Twitter at reason_evidence.
You can get a hold of me on Twitter at Eric the Heathen. No, not Twitter.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Instagram.
I don't know. Look, I'm working on it. I promise.
Email Eric. If you'd like to see pictures of his pretty face, it's Instagram.
And also Reddit, reddit.com/r/talkheathen.
Yeah.
I do ask that if you do want to talk, please,
call
post
back
on
in.
and post on our Reddit and post on Facebook, because we have some amazing fans who'd love to be able to talk to you too.
Or email. I'm not sure how internet you are. If,
I'm not. I cannot internet.
He's not very internet. So you're. But if that's helpful at all.
Yeah, everything is helpful. Yeah, I'll keep in touch. Yeah, thank you.
Is it Mary or Mari?
Mari.
Marisol?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's short for my name. My name is long. Yeah.
All right. Well, Mari, it was very nice to meet you, and we'll talk to you next time.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'll call again.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Have a nice
Good talking to you.
Bye.
Tell us how the advice worked.
Yeah, right? Okay, I want to move.
That was a good first call. That was like a good first. I've been away for 3 weeks.
Yes.
You know what?
What's up?
I've been away for like 21 days.
Yes, you have.
I deconverted in less time.
blossomed.
I deconverted in less time than that.
Yeah. We need to get you back in it. And to get you back in it, I see another awesome call, and it is Adam in Florida. You're talking to Eric and Jamie on Talk Heathen. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Excellent.
We're doing marvelous.
What'd you want?
I'm doing marvelous.
I think we're both doing pretty awesome. Actually, we also have a live studio audience, which I think we hope is doing marvelous.
What's up? What's up, fishes? There are 20 of them, definitely.
Adam, what do you want to talk about today?
All right. First, I wanted to get you guys' opinion on something. Before I do that, I'm going to give you guys my
Strongly
background
opposed.
religion.
Okay.
I used to be a believer, but I wasn't a strong believer, so me deconverting to an atheist was pretty easy. It's just due to lack of evidence and things not making sense. It's pretty much that. And I've been an atheist almost a year now, so. And basically,
Congratulations.
Thank you. When I used to do research and stuff, I would come across people saying, like, you have to know, like, religious text, like, in and out to argue for or against it. And I just wanted to get you guys' opinion on that. Like, what do you think about that?
No, it's much more helpful, depending on what kind of argue you mean, to read the book A Manual for Creating Atheists, or to download the Atheos app, which is I'm about to spell live on video. So
this is going to be
watch
fun.
out.
Atheos. I am saving you, brother. Dude, we're good. I wanted to do it myself. I'm trying to help.
Thanks.
So,
Mom, you're embarrassing.
So are we talking about arguing, I'm sorry, just catching up. Are we talking about arguing against religion or for atheism?
It's mainly against it, because, like, I would see people, like online say, you can't argue against the Bible because you never read it. You don't know the whole everything, you know. It could be even like a simple, like, verse, and they can say, oh, you don't know the whole Bible, so you can't argue against it. And I don't know what to say about that, because I say it's pretty smart not to argue against something you don't know. But
that's true.
Like,
I would say there are a couple of things. So recently I met an atheist activist, a former fundamentalist, very passionate. Actually, he's going to be in the ACA lecture series, but who was a former fundamentalist, knew the Bible inside and out. Presumably, his church was one of the ones that said, oh, that part where some kids mock a prophet of God for being bald, and then the prophet curses them and God sends a she-bear to literally rip them apart. That's a good thing. Presumably, his church was one of those. and he read Thomas Paine's Common Sense. Wow, that was... Anyway,
you're good.
Read Thomas Paine's Common Sense, and basically one of the things Thomas Paine wrote was like, okay, the Bible, but why should we trust the Bible? And that was enough to chip him away. So if you're in a position where you feel like you're not really willing to go toe-to-toe on Scripture, you can always go, okay, but why this Scripture, right? Like, oh, do you guys know what's in the Bhagavad Gita? Have you read the Quran? Like, there's a whole lot more Jewish text than the Old Testament, the Talmud, right? So the book we've mentioned and the app, the Atheist app, is associated with the book. And both of those are the same method that Anthony Magnabosco uses. I'm just going to list, like, rapid fire a bunch of resources and then never come back to them, because that's helpful. But the method they use is focused more on the like, okay, but how do you form beliefs and why, rather than addressing this specific belief. Look, these two parts of the Bible say contradictory things.
And it's just using the Socratic method. But are you more interested in diving right into it? Because I can give you a couple resources if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Skeptic's Annotated Bible. Yeah.
Skeptic's Annotated Bible, absolutely. I have it on Kindle, and I have the physical version. It's dog-eared, and I love it.
And you can come to the ACA library and check one out.
Yes, you can.
Membership,
you can
only
look
$30
up,
a year.
a book by David Fitzgerald. It's called Nailed, 10 Christian Myths That Show That Jesus Never Existed at All. It has some really good info on the formation of the books in the New Testament and contextualizing books in the Old. You don't necessarily need to be a mythicist to get a good amount of information from it, so that helps. I would definitely
being a person who believes that Jesus didn't exist.
Yeah, that Jesus was never a actual character,
an actual person. That he was legend and not, a wandering apocalyptic rabbi.
I would advise that you head some people off at the pass if you want to talk to some apologists. It's getting really popular for people to say, oh, I just use exegesis and hermeneutics, and because of that, I know the will of God, and I know that if you drive down, and essentially what it is it's going into the Bible, and then it's pulling up what the original text was, and translating it back, and then finding the best example of what they want to prove and saying, oh, no, it really means this. And so...
Bart Ehrman is probably a good resource to look into for that.
Yeah.
He was fundamentalist and speaks those dead languages to understand the Bible.
And really, the thing is if people want to say that they can use exegesis and hermeneutics, you can take that exact same test, do the exact same thing, and make it say the exact opposite. And so don't get bogged down by that.
The Bible's a lot like that.
And I know it sounds intimidating when you start going through it and taking a look at it, but really all they're trying to do is do this post hoc shuffle, this little dance back, and everything just, means exactly what I want it to mean, and there's nothing wrong. So definitely check into that. The Bible's a really, really boring read.
In any language.
If you want to do it, dude, you're absolutely welcome to. Advice from somebody who had to learn it the hard way: you are not going to memorize the entire freaking Bible by reading it once. It's not going to happen. I've read plenty of books, and I can tell you the general storyline of The Prisoner of Azkaban, but that doesn't mean that I can tell you what's on a certain page in a certain chapter of that Harry Potter book.
Well,
you just get the
fan,
story. And so being able to speak to the story of it, being able to kind of have just that little bit of groundwork can really, really help if you want to have those conversations with people. Just don't expect it all to change in one go. Model the behavior that you want to see from them. Admit when something is wrong, or admit when you're wrong, or when you say, I don't know, and you come back, they're going to respect you more, and show them that you respect them more by doing the same. And it'll help a lot.
Yeah. Just say it's an onion, for those of you that looked on our Facebook page.
Topic is because I have like a very short attention span when it comes to certain things, so I'm not a person who goes and reads the Bible. I just find it very boring. And like even when I was a believer, I did not like going to church. I did not like reading the Bible. Like I was just the person I believe. That's basically it.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely the only person that's a believer that's like that. All the believers know their Bible and are totally okay with all the rape and pillage.
Yeah.
Hopefully my sarcasm scans.
It scans. It scans.
Okay.
It scans. It's just so close. It's just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
What you said you had a 2-part question. What was your second part?
Yeah. Do you think, like, I don't want to trample over it. Was that helpful for the first one?
Yeah. Well, no, that was pretty much it. I just wanted this guy's opinion on
Oh.
that. Just
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So I actually have just 2 little tidbits left, which is the Atheist app is just like a series of short questions. I also kind of have a short attention span, and so I've been making myself deliberately read. We should do a Talk Heathen book club. But making myself deliberately read through some things. But the Atheist app is like short little questions, and it's divided into like levels and segments. So it's easy to, I'll do this for a couple of minutes and then leave it and then come back. So it's not like long text that runs through it. That, and it's on a smartphone, so you can feel like you're playing Bubble Pop, whatever the latest version of Bejeweled that charges you money is called.
So
I got off in the weeds again.
Yeah,
but
you did.
Yeah.
Can we do that? Can we do that? Can we do a book club?
Yes. Let me
Yes,
see my last
will you
tidbit
read about
first,
next
real quick. I have a list. I
I have a book for you.
No, I played it up like I hadn't thought of this before, but I actually have books. But hold on, sorry, we're still on the. Eric, you always get way off into the weeds and distracted from the caller and just rambling on about other things that are unrelated, politics.
So completely
hair
unrelated
color.
to him. We actually have a mute button. I can mute him now.
That's not how it's a cough button.
It's amazing.
There are 2 of them. I can mute him as well.
Oh, I love this. Okay.
What he said when I muted him just now was, "Oh, I love this." Sorry.
Oh, that's
He wasn't.
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
But what I was going to say is,
tase you.
okay, I'm blocking it. If they're like very fundamentalists, no, evolution is poisoning people's minds. Of course, I don't believe in evolution. Where people will tie their faith to that and take their religion very seriously. Those are the people that, if they think critically at all, when they deconvert, they flip entirely the other way and are very sort of passionate. They're like, oh, religious issues are important to me, ride or die. And so it's either they're for or against. There's no middle way. But one of the books that I found helpful as far as getting in that mindset and helping them get in that mindset is called Why I Believed. And it's basically just notes taken from the, weekly or more frequently journals of this fundamentalist who did the whole raising money, learning obscure languages that only 2 tribes in Africa speak, so that they could go and proselytize for years and like do all of that, and they deconverted, and it's an interesting path through the mind of a fundamentalist believer, if nothing else. And it's called Why I Believed by author McLastname.
And if that doesn't help, there are a ton of really awesome podcasts, because if the attention span won't last for the book, oh my gosh, just get a hold of us on Reddit, on Facebook, email us, and we can suggest 1,000,001 podcasts that I don't know necessarily.
And we're going to start a book club, so...
Okay, yes, the first book, I'm announcing it.
No.
The Complete Heretic's Guide to Western Religion, Book 1, The Mormons.
No.
We'll talk about it next week. Jamie?
No. 1, you're trying to get me to read an entire book in a week, and I've got to move. 2, what's wrong with the Manual for Creating Atheists and going through it bit by bit? Or 3, if we want to cater to an American audience specifically, Fantasyland is amazing as a book, and I'm midway through it. However, one thing that I think we need to do is, hey, Adam, are you still there even?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, thanks. You say you have a short attention span.
You're doing fantastic.
But you just stayed on the line for, all right, cool. Well,
yeah. Anything else?
No, that's all it.
All right,
thank
cool.
you.
Well, thank you for calling in and patiently
waiting for us to like bumble around and hopefully answer your questions.
Listening in on our conversation that we have every week. Thank you. Call us back. Tell us how that worked.
Yeah. Definitely.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit.
All that stuff. Ready?
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted us to actually say the names of those, we could do that as well.
I'm worried we're overplugging it. Are we overplugging it?
Yeah,
we're overplugging it.
There's too many plugs.
Adam,
it'll start a fire.
Peace out, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you for calling in.
Bye.
Wow, we really steamrolled.
Yeah, we did. Let's try and make that a little bit better when we talk to Skyler in Arkansas. Skyler, this is Eric and Jamie. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good today.
Good. Doing all right. What do you want to talk about?
Marvelous.
Well, sorry.
That's okay.
Excuse me, my connection broke up for a second. So, I called in earlier because I got a person who said that because I'm an atheist because I had a poor relationship with my father, and that other atheists had because they had poor relationships with their parents, that they automatically had to become atheists. And
you'll hate your father.
I think that's fundamentally wrong. I think it brings up a good talking point.
Dan Barker. Sorry, you
No, it's fine. But,
Tell me about your mother.
Was your childhood filled with weird shit?
See, I had a bad relationship with my dad, but that didn't change
the
fact that I became an atheist. My mother is Urantian, some weird earth religion.
Sure. So can we say that a whole lot of altar boys have been getting molested by priests, and so you become
But it was their
Catholic by getting
relationship with their father
by a priest
that would make them deacon.
that makes you Catholic,
Yeah.
right?
Is it like
it's
transfer?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of ridiculous because I know a lot of people who had relationships with their fathers, but still went on to become Catholic or Christian of some denomination.
Sure.
And it just happened to be that I was raised in a home where I was allowed to make my own decisions about religion. Nice. And that's what I happened to come up with.
That was their first mistake. They allowed you to think.
My mother really supports my ability to be an individual and everything. So,
and she's a
we have
Christian?
a really good relationship.
That's good. Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah, that is good.
But my father is a whole lot less understanding, and and I'm not telling him he's not going to watch the fact that I just recently got a boyfriend, so he's, he's not
congratulations.
down for
yeah,
that.
Seriously.
So I think it brings up a good point. Like, what kind of parental things have to happen for you to just say, I hate religion because of them? It just seems, I think that brings up the point that some people may be in atheism for the wrong reasons. And I think that's a good place to start.
Absolutely. Skepticism is not all atheists are skeptics. And for me, I think that is the right reason. So,
having thought about what is true and how to determine what is true, and then coming to a mature, reasoned conclusion that the fuck is this is probably the best way to be.
Yeah, and
yes.
really,
as opposed to I rolled dice and this is the one that came up on the list.
When I was a believer, it was absolutely clear to me that atheists were broken people. They had to be, because they didn't have God to put them together. And so saying, oh, you must have a poor relationship with your family is just one way of them saying, well, of course, you're broken. And if you come to God, then it'll be fixed. You know, so it's a talking point that's been around for a really long time. And it's one that when you look at it to any reasonable degree, you'll see that that's just not it's just not the case. But it is feeding into this larger idea that atheists are broken in one way or another. And if we just find that thing that's broken, then they'll see the truth of God. And that's just, it's offensive. It's offensive, and it's like...
And foolish.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts, man? Did you give your thoughts?
I mean, you know, I always have thoughts. So many
Thoughts about
thoughts.
this?
I've got so many thoughts, the best thoughts. Some of these thoughts you haven't even heard yet.
I like that
It's your favorite
I like that
impression.
the camera's like on me.
Yeah,
Everybody.
it's because
Those
you're...
thoughts trump anything else.
Nice.
So,
Man after my own sense of humor. Yeah. Well, one,
Great.
congratulations on the freedom and the joyous liberation, whichever of those adjectives you want to apply to being atheist or getting a boyfriend.
They both work very well.
nice.
Is your is your boyfriend non-religious?
He's, I believe the best word would actually be agnostic. He doesn't really know if there is something, but he's an agnostic theist
Okay. Okay.
sort of thing.
Okay.
He's on the fence, so he's probably going to be convinced one way or another when he's around me.
Yeah.
Thumbs up for rock and roll.
Yeah.
I forgot what point of yours I was going to piggyback on. This
No
must be
worries.
how you feel
All the time.
All the time.
of the time.
Yeah. Taste
I,
my own.
I forget what I'm saying while I'm saying it, so I know how you feel.
That's all right.
Exactly. Wait, what?
So,
Wait, what?
No,
talking about going back to talking with your parents and what that means when you have a bad relationship with your parents and how that reflects on what you think about a God really presupposes that you have a relationship with someone else's imaginary friend. And that is on its face ridiculous. You don't need to have a specific kind of relationship with anybody to be able to say, hey, your imaginary friend is, imaginary. It's cool. You do your thing, whatever, but...
or to not accept their invitation to a really boring hangout with their imaginary friend where you sit and listen to some old dude ramble on for a little bit.
Yeah.
Watch this show. Sit and listen to a young dude ramble on for too much.
And I just watched me rein him in.
Hey, at least the young dude brings up better points.
Most of the time. Some of the time. Yeah. All right. Skyler, I think we're going to move on unless you have anything else you want to
Did you have another point or more to talk about?
No, I think that is about all I wanted to talk about for today. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, it was a pleasure.
You have a good day.
You've heard us plug all the ways
I'll definitely continue to watch the rest of your stream.
Oh,
Good
sweet.
one, you too.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
And you've already
Like,
heard us
subscribe.
plug all the ways of communicating with us off the show.
Except for Facebook, but yes.
Oh, we have a Facebook, Talk Heathen, and
And if you are just watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share because we
and
want
bell.
to get this out
There's
there.
you
could put up a list.
YouTube has divided subscribe to also get notifications when things happen.
Yep.
I always have my notifications on for you guys.
Aw, man. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, you take care, brother.
Hey,
You
good
too.
talking to you, Skyler.
You-
Bye.
Okay, before you take the next one.
What?
The ACA is now currently producing 5 shows. And if you are surprised by that number, buckle up, because I can list them. It's actually really not that impressive a thing.
The Atheist Experience.
The first and best one, Talk Heathen. But
Yeah,
sorry,
that one,
the-
Talk Heathen.
The two that are tied, definitely on even footing, Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience.
Godless bitches, which I can't say anything bad about because they're awesome.
Why would you want to?
The nonprofits, who are also amazing, and doubly amazing when you realize it's spelled Prophetess. So it's the double
They're
thing,
nonprofits,
right?
yeah.
I like that. We also have the
Preaching Humanist. With David Oliverio. He's very cool. He does Ask an Atheist stuff where he stands out with a sign. I've been out there and it's like, I'm a secular humanist. Let me tell you about that. It doesn't say that last part, but
and plus when you
ask
meet
an
him,
atheist.
like you just have this like instant, I want to have a beer with you.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
you
he's
are a guy that I want to have a beer with.
Yeah, he's a former preacher, so he very much likes going out, talking to people.
Definitely.
Getting on that, yeah.
Definitely. He's good with eye contact and shaking. Just super cool dude. Are we ready?
Oh, no. Hold on. You can listen to, if you're watching this show and you don't know what the atheist experience is, contact us because that is amazing. We're going to buy champagne. If you,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we will pop that on.
Yeah. I'm drinking a lot less now, but I will drink champagne for that. You can watch an episode of The Atheist Experience later today in 3 hours. Slightly less than 3 hours.
Yep.
2 hours, 4:35, whatever. A few hours, it's that time every Sunday. The Nonprofits is on the first and third Wednesdays of every month, starting at 7 p.m. Central. Wow, I'm a lot less confident when I'm saying these other people's times. And the Preaching Humanist has a YouTube channel and doesn't go live, so you can see it anytime, all the time.
Yep.
And Godless Bitches, the most recently launched one that was a bunch of work that I was involved in, so I don't know how I forgot to list it first, is currently goes live the first Saturday of every month at 11 a.m.
Check them out.
And I said that slowly for dramatic effect and not because I was remembering it as I was talking.
All right. Humor comes in threes. You got to hit that one more time.
Hit which one?
So let's move to and
Call forward.
let's actually go to number 2.
Ooh.
I have Evolution Falls in Texas.
Hi, you're on the
Hello.
Talk Heathen with Eric and Jamie.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey.
I'm a theist, and I have a question for you.
Rock
you
on.
had mentioned
First
Peter-
off,
Yeah.
what is your name? What
Yeah.
can we call you?
Yeah, sorry, your name.
Just call me EF.
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 Okay, EF.
That's yeah.
EF.
Just call me EF. Okay. Now you had mentioned Peter Boghossian's book, A Manual for Creating Atheists. Now I have that book and I'm perusing through it, and I notice at the end of the book it has a section called Containment Protocols, where he specifically wants atheists to have the government financially cripple organizations of faith or religious organizations. And he also wants to remove the religious exemption for faith or religion so that anyone who believes in supernatural things or God or religion will be classified as mentally ill. Do you agree with that?
May I?
Yes.
All right. In Islamic countries, there are a lot of countries that will take their law directly out of the Quran. Would you like to live in one of those countries? EF.
No, I'm a Christian, so I wouldn't want to live there.
Okay. Why wouldn't you want to live there as a Christian?
Why? Because I think they advocate a false worldview.
Okay. Any other reason? Maybe violence or lack of opportunity, maybe?
Well, I think they derive a lot of their ideas from the Quran, which I consider to be false.
Okay.
But do you agree? Do you agree that all belief in God is a mental illness, like Peter?
Oh no,
Boghossian?
you are helping me answer this, and so I'm asking you because I want to take you on this journey. So again, do you think that you would risk violence against you by being a non-Muslim in a country where Sharia law is practiced? Because the answer is yes.
Well, I don't understand your question.
Sure. I can tell it to you, right? If you're not a Muslim in a country where you cannot own things or you cannot have business or you cannot just operate in society if you don't believe what they believe.
Own a Bible, show a cross.
And
Okay, yeah, all right. So but that doesn't address the question.
Sure.
Do you agree with Peter Boghossian
So
that
why
we should
would I
use
want
the government to
Yeah.
cripple religious organizations in the United States?
Yeah, why the heck would I want Sharia law to happen here in the United States?
Well, that's not the question I'm asking you. Peter Boghossian states
No.
he wants to cripple
That
all
does-
religious organizations in the country. Do you
That does
agree with
answer it. That does answer it. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't want to live in a world where I need to be worried about being an atheist. And I don't want people who are non-Christian to live in a world where they're worried about being non-Christians. I have heard you live in Texas with us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how many people have said this is a Christian nation in your church? I know they said it all the time in mine.
Well, whether they say that or not,
just answer. Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah. Well,
do they say that this is a Christian nation? Yes or no?
Some people do.
Okay.
I don't say that.
Okay.
Now,
Can you see how
that the government should be used to financially cripple all religious organizations?
I think if a religious organization, here's my direct answer. I think if a religious organization is benefiting from my tax dollars, that needs to stop. I think if you have a club,
that would be one thing. Yeah.
Hold on. If you have a club, right? If you have a club or a nonprofit like the ACA, maybe, right? We don't take tax dollars. And in fact, we spend that time, we fund things and we have donations, we've got the YouTube channel.
And we can always use more.
And we spend a lot of that on helping others, right? We don't need tax money to do that. And would you think that taking away exemptions from a church is crippling them? Because I don't think they deserve or should have those exemptions at all.
According to Peter Boghossian in the containment protocols, in addition to removing tax exemption, he wants the government to use whatever means it can to financially cripple faith-based organizations.
Sure.
Do you agree with that?
I think that they enjoy an unfair advantage over everyone else, and they don't deserve it. And I think that...
No, I'm not talking about tax exemption.
Oh, I'm not either. You know that there's a law that's... Has it gone out there, or is it still in being decided whether or not tax dollars should go toward
Trinity
building
Lutheran?
churches? No.
Or the most recent vote that FEMA money for rebuilding things can be claimed by churches?
Yeah. So how would you feel about your tax dollars going toward building a mosque anywhere?
I'm not advocating that.
No, but
I'm not advocating tax dollars go toward building a mosque or any other religious institution.
Cool.
However, there is the
like that's not a tax
in
break.
The Constitution. Well, the Constitution states that Congress shall make no law with respect to an establishment of religion. Mm-hmm. But I have another question for you.
So before we move on to a second question, one I'd just like to address. I think hopefully the point got across that Eric was attempting to give you as close as you can have a view from where we're sitting, which is there is a religion, there's a religious organization, you disagree with it, it wants your tax money, is that okay? Which is, I think we can agree, should the government pass a law respecting the establishment of a religion, based on the last point you made, I think we agree that that's not something that we would like our government to do, even if it was legal, although I don't want to make that assumption. That is where we are.
Okay, so now since you don't believe in God, and
God. Sorry.
Yeah.
EF, I was trying to figure out is that where you stand as far as should the government of the United States use its power to promote or in some way establish a religion? Like, I mean, I know that is illegal, but
I think the Constitution is pretty clear that Congress shall make no law with respect to an establishment of religion. My second question is, since you don't believe in God, can I get to my second question? You answered my first one.
Eric did, and I know that we tend to go on and on, but part of the question I was trying to ask that I think you've answered was, if it could be legal, right? If someone said, hey, push this button, you've amended the Constitution, it's legal for the government of the United States to establish Baptist as the official religion of the United States, my kind of question was, in a world where that comported with the law, would you be in favor of a theocracy?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't be in favor. I like the way the Constitution is written. My second question is, since you don't believe in God or you don't think God exists, God could be defined as the ultimacy of reality from which everything else depends and is contingent on. Since you don't believe in God, what is the ultimacy of reality that makes God unnecessary, that provides you with the ability to think and to reason?
So I have two prongs I'd like to approach. One, the word ultimacy, I think, in that sentence is interesting, and I'd like to delve into what you mean by it. But two, what I've just heard you say is, if by God I mean this thing that makes all of reality necessary, then what other explanation do you have for how all of this happens, which is a fallacious structure of an argument? The conclusion that a proposition is true should result from evidence that it is true, not from an argument. Okay, I'm glad, because that was
in the case that there is a creator God who created all things, and everything would be derivative from the creator God, such as, for example, you mentioned the God of the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But since you don't believe that, then there must be some other ultimacy of reality that you are contingent and derivative of that allows you to be able to think and to reason. What is the ultimacy of reality that provides you with the capacity to reason?
Okay, so I now have an understanding of your question and know that I had an understanding of it when I provided my first answer. So I'm going to try and find a different way of communicating my answer to it. So when you're using the phrase ultimacy of reality, to condense that, you mean means by which existence exists, along those lines, if I can.
No, what is the ultimate nature of reality that everything is contingent and derivative of?
Okay, so
such as ourselves, that allows us to think and to reason. So if it's not God, what is it?
Okay.
Yeah, so the structure of your argument is, well, I've given an answer, you don't believe it, that means you have to give an answer. Yeah, what you've just said is, well, if this answer isn't the answer, what is your answer? If the answer isn't God, then provide one is effectively what you just said.
Okay, I'll try to explain it again to you. Either it is the case that there's a creator God, or it's not the case that there is a creator God.
Yes, and I'll believe that the case is that there's a creator God when there's sufficient evidence.
I
accept.
May I finish?
You've made this effectively the same statement 3 times, and I've understood it and repeated it back to you.
Yeah, but now you're over talking me. Now
that does happen on this show. I do that to Eric more than anyone else.
Oh, please, dude, you have no idea.
What is it that exists ultimately that would make a creator God concept unnecessary? What is the ultimate nature of reality then?
Okay. The question that you have just posed in the form of an argument, if it's not God, then what would it be, is not an argument that supports, it would have to be God.
I'm not making an argument. I'm asking you a question.
Okay, so do you understand that in a situation where people don't understand something, for example, I'm not a cosmologist, so I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know what the ultimacy of reality is then, is that correct?
That is what I just said. Do you know what the ultimacy of reality is?
Well, since I'm a Christian, I would attribute that to the God of the Bible. However,
cool. Why do you believe that the God of the Bible is the ultimacy of reality?
May I speak without being overspoken?
I mean, I'm sorry. This is how we do this.
My question for you, since you don't know what the ultimacy of reality is that allows you to think and move and breathe and reason, since you don't know what it is, how is it then that you exclude God as a creator God's concept then?
Jamie doesn't know.
Because because I have been presented with insufficient evidence to believe that Allah created the universe, or that the universe was created last Thursday, or that universe creating pixies believed it. I do not have sufficient evidence to draw any conclusion at the present moment about the answer to that question. is there a good reason for me to draw a conclusion about that question? Or good reasons in evidence?
Is it your view then that it is possible that a creator God exists?
You'd have to define a creator God.
How about a non-contingent, eternal, conscious mind that has the power to effectuate the initial conditions of the universe?
May I?
Is that possible?
No, it's not. Show me an example of a conscious mind that exists without a body.
Okay, why is that not possible?
I just asked you. I just told you. I showed you why.
To be clear, he's saying, I do not, the proposition is, do you conclude that this statement is true? The statement being, it is possible that a creator God that is a non-contingent mind, etc., that along the lines of what Matt Slick says. And Eric is saying, why should I come to the conclusion that the proposition, it is possible, is true?
Yeah, I'm actually answering it by addressing.
Was it Eric who said it's not possible?
Yes.
Yeah. I was clarifying in case that's...
On what grounds, Eric, is it not possible?
So you need to be able to demonstrate a thing before you say it, or else I'm going to say that...
I didn't.
Otherwise, I'm going to say, hold on, let me finish.
Question.
I can say that leprechauns are crawling out of my ass right now. And you can't see below the table, right? So if you can't prove it wrong, then I can just say it, right?
Well, you asserted a minute ago that it is not possible for a creator God to exist.
I said it's not possible for a mind to exist outside of a body.
And how do you know that?
Because I have yet to see a single one.
Yeah, to be clear, he means that based on the evidence, it is reasonable to conclude no. Yeah.
That's a fallacy. You're appealing to incredulity. The fact that are you using inductive reasoning?
Oh, Lord.
I know. Okay, hold on.
May I finish my statement, please?
Yeah, you go ahead.
I'm not over-talking you.
No, but this is our show, so you can get used to it, man.
Yeah, I know it's your show.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This conversation escalated really quickly.
I'm not being rude. I'm just asking you a question.
Sure.
Since all the minds that you are familiar or acquainted with operate through the medium of a brain, that's inductive reasoning. That does not logically necessitate that therefore all minds that could potentially exist have to operate through a brain.
Yeah,
So that's a fallacy of using inductive reasoning.
It's a fallacy if you conclude, yes, therefore this is the case, rather than, therefore it is reasonable to conclude that this is true tentatively, the same way that all of the modern human knowledge over the last 200 years has resulted in a greater understanding of the physical world.
Actually, that's
still
not
waiting.
I'm
still waiting for Eric to demonstrate why it's not possible for there to be a creator God. If you say that the only minds we know of operate through brains, that does not logically necessitate through a deductive argument that no immaterial minds can exist.
Yeah,
so
why in the world would I accept your premise? If I don't accept the premise. No, it is, because I said...
I didn't assert to you that there was.
Wait, so you said that there is a creator God that exists that is non-contingent? No? Hold on.
Okay.
Wait, are we talking about
Eric,
the assertion that it's possible?
I gave a definition.
Yeah.
Now, you asserted that it is not possible for a non-material mind to exist, and I'd like to know why that's not possible.
I told you to show me. If I said it poorly, I apologize.
That's not, okay.
If I said it poorly, I apologize.
Okay, so you're not asserting that it is not possible?
I'm saying that I have no reason to accept your premise.
Okay. Okay, so are you retracting the statement that it is not possible?
I just said it twice. If I said it poorly, I apologize. Is that better?
Okay. All right. So the original question I asked was, is it possible for a creator God to exist? How would you answer that, Eric?
Well, is this in the direct philosophy, anything is possible type deal? Like,
I'm just
are you? Can you make a sound argument for it? I don't think so. Can you make a valid argument?
I'm
Sure.
I'm not making an argument. I'm asking you a question about your worldview.
Well,
is it possible that a creator God can exist?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
If I can jump in here
No.
No, I just meant like, the reason that I'm jumping in here is not to provide an argument. It's to sort of like, okay, I think we're coming to a place where we're at a better understanding, and I think we're going to get a more cooperative argument. But just to clarify, so that I'm following this and the folks at home are following this, because we've gone in a circle and used a lot of terms that are very specific to these kinds of arguments. EF, your question was, is it possible that a creator God exists? I'm not sure that you guys had gotten into defining what a creator God would mean. And
I already defined it several minutes ago.
Okay. Hold on.
That's true. You said, I'm not sure whether
Okay.
you meant a mind or the ultimacy of reality. Just so that we're all on the same.
Agree that it is So do both of you agree that it is possible for a creator God to exist?
By your definition?
I'm talking about a creator God
Yes.
concept. Is that possible?
Define a
Both of you
creator
agree
God
with that?
concept.
I just did.
Can you do it again, please?
I think he means because you've provided two definitions.
A non-material, non-contingent, eternal mind that has the power to effectuate the initial conditions of the universe. Is that possible?
If I were to evaluate the statement, a non-material object, right? Unless we're talking about metacognition, unless we're talking about numbers, unless we're talking about things that we have defined to be able to talk to each other, I don't think that they exist in the same way that you and I exist, right?
Is it possible?
Hold on. Do you want me to answer it, or are you looking for a soundbite? Because I'm answering your question.
Oh, okay. I wasn't really hearing a direct answer, though.
Okay. So I am taking each piece of your definition and I'm breaking it down, because I don't think that it stands up to scrutiny when it is broken down. I think it needs to be in one big piece, and I think you need to answer yes or no for it to even slightly, possibly maybe hold water. And so I'm taking each piece, we're gonna bite-size it out, and I'm gonna show you that there is not a time where I am going to there's not a time where I'm going to accept any of those premises, right? Or most of those premises, at least, because I have no reason. I have no reason to accept.
I didn't ask you if you accepted it.
Well,
I didn't ask you that question.
Okay, then I reject your premises.
Possible?
I reject your premise.
I did. Is it possible that a creator God exists?
I really, that's like saying, does blue, orange, tomato? If we're not going to talk about what it means, if we're not going to address the premises, then it's word salad.
I already defined the word God to you twice.
Yes, and as soon as I started to talk about the characteristics that you gave it, all of a sudden, no, we're not talking about the greater question, right?
Yeah. Is it possible that there is a mind that is non-contingent?
Yeah.
Is that possible that a mind like that could have the power to effectuate the initial conditions of the universe? Is that possible in your view, or is it impossible?
Okay.
To be clear,
If
sorry,
we were
that's not a
talking-
dichotomy.
Well,
Do you believe that it is possible, or do you not hold that belief? Sorry, just
no,
I mean,
actually, that's beautiful.
yeah, sorry, just throwing out the one.
It's a logical dichotomy. It's a logical dichotomy. Either A is the case or A is not the case.
Yes,
Either it is
hold
the
on.
case
No.
that a creator God exists, or it is not the case that a creator
Yes,
God
but your
exists.
question is, do you believe this,
And is it
or
possible?
is it not
No,
true
I
that you
didn't
believe?
ask you.
No, the
I
belief.
didn't
Sorry,
ask you
the
to
belief
believe it.
is.
I said,
No. The
Can I
belief
get a-
is
can I-
no,
can-
because
can I
you won't
respond
listen,
without
and
getting
this.
cut off?
No, okay. There's a miscommunication here that has been repeated 3 times, and I'm sorry because it's not one that's been addressed. It's just people talking past each other. The belief that I just referred to, because it's confusing, because usually that means a belief in the God or that it's possible. What I mean is the belief that it is possible is what I was referring to. So if you ask, do you believe that it's
whether
possible?
You believe in God, I think that's clear.
Yes, but you asked whether he believes that it's possible.
Is it possible?
Yes.
Is it possible
That's a belief.
that a creator God can exist?
Okay, are you asking
To be
Eric,
clear, that's
or are you
a belief.
asking Jamie, or are you asking Eric
He's
and
asking
Jamie?
you. I keep jumping in.
Yeah, you
because
are.
That's
okay.
Is it a possibility?
Okay. If we were looking at this logically, I would need to determine that by taking a look at each characteristic that you listed. Do you understand that?
Okay, yeah, we have minds and we have non-contingency. Can a
No. We also
mind
talked
exist?
about the beginnings of the universe too, right? Setting up conditions.
No,
so we would need to also include the power to do that. Right?
That's right. That's right. I don't understand why this question is so difficult for you. Is it impossible or possible that a creator God can exist?
That is a false dichotomy by definition. You do realize that. Rephrase. I think you're saying it poorly.
Actually, according to the law of non-contradiction, the law of excluded middle, A cannot equal not A, and something is either A or it's not A.
Right.
It's not a logical dichotomy.
May I? Okay, I'd like to finish my statement without being overspoken.
You might get that, you might not.
Either it is.
If you don't like it, then tough, dude.
Well, it's not that I don't like it. It's that when you're over talking me, I can't get my point out.
Go ahead.
Now, either it is the case that there is a creator God, or it is not the case that there is a creator God. That is a logical dichotomy. There is no third option. So I'm asking both of you, is it possible or impossible for a creator God to exist?
Okay, I already said yes.
So to be clear, the statement that he's making and that I've made about the dichotomy is not, there is a third possible option, because asking a person, hey, what is the answer to this question, is not the same as determining the answer to that question. One of those two things is true. However, what conclusion is drawn about either point of that logical dichotomy is a different question. So it's, do you accept A as factual, or do you accept not A as factual? And the answer can be neither, because the question that is asked in that instance is, what is your position? You're asking Eric's position.
No, I didn't.
No.
And he's saying,
ask you if A or not A were true. I didn't ask you that question. I said,
you did.
Which possibility do you think it is? Do you think it is possible that a creator God exists, or do you think it's impossible? I didn't ask you which actual world is the case. Yeah. I said, is a creator God impossible in your worldview, or is it possible?
For people, and I'm going to spell this out for people who are watching, not for you, EF. In philosophy.
Yes to what? Yes to what? Yes to what?
No, he said EF.
EF.
Sorry, just.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Both of our bloods are up. That's all right. I get it.
Yeah, we're getting a little heated.
So, in philosophy, anything is possible as long as you can present a valid argument, and within its own little sphere, if it holds up, then you can accept it. But then you need to judge whether or not it's true. You need to check the soundness of that. And so if I'm determining the validity of it, right, is it possible that a creator God exists? That has to be somewhere on the line of anything can exist until we start to define things. So yes.
Okay, so
now you asked me to then take a look at your definition of a creator God, because now that we're defining it, now I can piece it out and I can determine whether or not I accept the different premises, because you didn't say that your creator God has one characteristic. You listed 3, right? And so I'm taking a look at all 3. And if I don't agree or won't accept one of those, then I can toss out the whole fucking thing. Right?
Okay, so is your atheism because there is an insufficiency of a rational justification for the existence of God?
Yes! Oh my gosh, yes! We need like a buzzer or something. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, now
you win the best caller prize.
Since you withhold belief in God because there's no rational justification, your capacity to reason to that effect would depend on that there is causality, laws of nature, and laws of logic. Do those exist, and do you have a rational justification for them?
Okay, I love that we moved into this place. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you made it here with us. Okay, so do I need to justify morality to be able to act within it? I
didn't ask you about morality.
No. I know.
He's giving another example.
I'm actually bringing to the table what I have because I don't have everything worked out. Right?
Okay, well, let me repeat the question because I think you're confusing my question with the issue of morality. I didn't invoke morality.
Bring it up in small sections then.
Right. Since you're employing reason to evaluate whether or not God exists, reason would depend on the nature of reality, which would be causality, laws of nature, and that there would be laws of logic. Okay. Since your criterion for belief or non-belief in God is whether or not it's rationally justified, as an atheist, do you have a rational justification that there is causality, laws of nature, and laws of logic?
I really don't think I have a choice in that, do I? We kind of defined all of them.
Do you have a rational justification for any one of those three?
So that's like saying, do I have a rational justification for numbers? We use those things to be able to describe other things. So if we're going to talk about the definitions of them, we can talk about the definitions. But if you're talking about what are numbers, how do you know numbers number? I don't know.
I didn't mention numbers. I didn't mention numbers. I didn't mention morality. I asked you if causality and laws of nature and the laws of logic exist that would be necessary prerequisites for you to reason and to reason that there is no God. So do you have a rational justification for laws of logic and that there's causality in nature?
Okay. I reject your statement again. I reject the argument.
It's not a statement, it's a question.
No, you defined things in a way that I don't agree with, and so I can't proceed.
I didn't give you a definition.
You did. You said that I need to believe in these things to be able to reason, right?
No, I didn't say that. You're not listening.
No, you can go back and listen to the recording.
May I finish my statement? I will. I didn't say you had to believe in them. I said they are necessary prerequisites for reason. Okay. It's very simple.
I'm sorry, that's the same thing that he just said.
Can I finish my statement to him, please?
Will you listen when we speak?
Is causality, the laws of nature, and the laws of logic, are they necessary prerequisites for you to reason and reason as an atheist?
No. They result from interacting with the world as it can possibly be perceived and are definitions of emergent properties of reality as best we can perceive it. So the fundamental underpinnings is the way that we interact with the world. The next step that you have to take this chain backwards is to propose hard solipsism.
Okay, I asked you, do you have a justification that there are laws of logic? Because the laws of logic have to be... May I finish, please?
Yes.
The laws of logic would be a necessary prerequisite for reason and to be able to reason as an atheist. The laws of logic would be defined as absolute and universal. Do you have a rational justification that the laws of logic exist as an atheist?
Okay, so unless you're saying, ooh, there's an ether that exists outside of the universe thing, unless that's what you mean, then the answer is yes.
I'm waiting to hear a rational justification that the laws of logic exist to permit you.
Human beings.
No, the laws of logic are not human beings. The laws of logic...
That wasn't what I was saying. Can I finish my statement, please?
EF, you need to listen to him fully. Yeah. If you're going to sit here on your high horse and say, you need to...
I'm not being on my high horse.
Listen back to the recording afterward. Jamie, go ahead.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, then you'll refine the way you use the script.
Go ahead.
So the laws of logic are not synonymous with human beings. The laws of logic...
That's not a thing I said.
Yeah, no, you cut into him,
that's not a thing I said.
That's why you didn't hear it.
My understanding, as I remember it, was that earlier in this conversation you said that you weren't over-talking us. I think that that's changed because the temperature of this conversation has heated up. And I'm
still waiting for an answer.
Well, that's a good way of cooling this temperature down. But
well,
so my answer to the question, again, begins with an explanation from the foundation. So the first 2 words of my answer are not going to entirely explain it. And those first 2 words of my answer that is more than a single sentence are human beings experience reality and attempt to explain it. Logic, foundations of reason, numbers that describe properties of existence as we perceive it, those are definitions to concepts and ideas that we observe and understand by interacting with reality.
Can you observe the laws of logic?
I can observe reality and see whether or not a suggestion about how it works comports with reality. So in that way, yes.
Well, but you see, the laws of logic are defined as being absolute and universal. Can you make an observation of anything
Logically.
that's absolute and universal?
Yeah, 1.
No, I said, can you observe something that is absolute and universal?
To be clear,
Okay, are you talking about anything?
are you asking about absolute certainty?
Well, since he invoked that he could observe, I'm asking you, how do you observe the laws of logic when they are abstract, absolute, universal abstractions? When you make an observation, that's of particulars, not of universals. How do you observe that something is universal when you only observe a tiny subset of particulars?
You test it. You test it until it doesn't
No.
work. And then when it doesn't work,
Okay,
then...
testing only deals with observation of particulars, not universals.
Okay, what?
Rules of
What
logic
reason?
only describe things that exist. So testing
The laws of
reality,
logic-
testing the things that exist is how we determine what the laws of logic are.
See, now you're getting
No,
pissed
the
off.
laws of logic are that for any entity, that all entities that exist within the universe, they always equal themselves and they can never equal their negations. Can you observe that the laws of logic hold for all entities?
So far, so
Yes.
good. I mean, I'm not a hard
Wait.
solipsist, so I can't say for absolute
I'm not
certainty
discussing
anything.
solipsism.
Okay, then...
I'm not discussing solipsism.
Then to the best
I'm
ability
asking-
that I
We
can,
are,
yes.
we brought it up. Sometimes when we give an
You
answer,
told
we
me-
bring up more information.
You told me you could observe the laws of logic. The laws of logic are just defined as being universal and absolute.
Okay.
In terms
Do you
of
remember the
nature
other
of all
parts of my
entities.
answer to that question when the entire preamble to that for an entire paragraph was an explanation of the statement?
Yeah, you're only referring to a tiny subset of your sense experience within the domain of the entire universe, but you don't observe the entire universe. So how do you know that the laws of logic are in fact universal?
Okay, that's just flatly dishonest. I'm sorry, you need to take a look at what you're saying, and you need to reevaluate it. Because you just kicked out examples that he was using because they didn't address everything all at once. And I can't think
No, the reason
of,
why-
I mean, unless he comes up with a universal field theory right now, then there's not a single thing, not in the great big scope and not when you're talking about minutia, are you going to be able to address everything all the time. We do the best we can. And let me give you a personal example from myself that can help illustrate this, okay? Are you ready? I'm going to talk about something that is related. Yes? Fantastic. We talked about ethics and morality. And ethics and morality is something that people have called in about. And why do you do this? And how do you justify it? And I honestly didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know why I was okay. I know I'm going to bring it up and I hate myself for it.
Vegans.
Why I eat meat and don't feel terrible about it. Don't feel terrible about it. And did I need to justify it to myself as a child when I didn't know? No. But do I need to be able to make more sense of the world around me? Yes, and these are tools that I use to do that. Right?
Okay, are you using inductive reasoning to justify the universality of the laws of logic?
Okay. Give me an example of a way that doesn't do that, please.
Inductive reasoning will make an observation of a
answer
small
me.
subset
Answer my
that
question
generalizes
instead
as
of
a
talking
whole.
over and changing it.
I'm giving you.
Give me an example.
I'm giving you an example of what the nature of inductive reasoning.
No, I want you to give me an example.
I am attempting to answer you, and you're over talking me.
As long as you're not going to answer the question, I'm going to interrupt you.
That's the third time I'm attempting to answer you. Now,
I'm done.
An example of inductive reasoning. That's the fourth time I'm trying to answer you. Now, an example of inductive reasoning is to make a partial observation of a subset of the whole, and then generalizing based upon that subset that the whole conforms to the subset. I observe 100 swans and they're always white. If somebody therefore reasons all swans are white, that would be an example of inductive reasoning. So you cannot logically necessitate that all swans are white by observing a subset that is all white. Now, since you observe certain consistencies within your observation and sense experience, that doesn't logically necessitate that the laws of logic are true at all times and all places. So I'm asking you as an atheist, how do you justify that the laws of logic are absolute and universal? Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to justify that you can reason as an atheist. So do you have a justification that the laws of logic are absolute and universal?
Okay. So
other than the one we've already said?
Here's where I'm at. I try to be open and honest about the best ways that I can determine things, right? As soon as I give you my experience, that's the best that we can do. So my question to you is unrelated, because I can't give you the answer that
you don't have a justification for the laws of logic then?
Not one that's going to satisfy your definition, dude.
I'm looking. I didn't ask for a definition. I said, do you have any justification that
Holy
the laws
shit,
of logic
are you serious?
Absolute universal.
Okay. Hold on. I gave you my answer. I gave you my answer, and you said, no, by this definition it doesn't work. And then I said, no, okay, by your definition, I don't have a good answer. And you said, I didn't give a fucking definition? Are you kidding? Now it's my turn. Now I'm going to take this, and you can either... You're on hold. All right. I'm tired of this. I'm so fucking tired of people being able to come in and give that bullshit. All right, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's bullshit. I'm going to tell you why. Let's bring the camera in. Let's do this. All right? Are we ready? Are we ready? Come on, let's bring it. All right. It is bullshit when you want to come in and try and give people this idea that they need to come up with a perfect reasoning for everything in their lives, when the fact is that we're human, that this is the human experience, and that we are at best trying to reason our way through it. And as human beings, that's all we have. But that's okay. We come up with laws, we come up with rules, we come up with theories so that we can better explain the world around us. But without us, those things don't exist, right? We have the laws of logic, and to the best of our ability, we've been able to see that it works, right? We can justify that it works in that every time that we've used it, it has worked. And if it doesn't, then the better thing to do is not use it anymore. That's fine. But if you're going to come in and say you need to justify it, then what you are doing is implying that you do have that answer. That is a presuppositional argument. What you're doing is you're making a special example for yourself when you're not addressing the point. I have the answer, and so you know what? I just do because my imaginary friend says so. That's way less authentic. That's way less. It doesn't answer anything because it doesn't have predictive power. It doesn't have the ability to test it in other places. I do because I said so doesn't really answer anything. And so if you don't like the answer, then fucking welcome to the human condition. We all have it.
He's on hold still.
No.
Too.
Fuck this guy. Next call.
All right. Before you jump on the next one.
Yeah.
Hey, Vern, watch the levels a little bit. There it is. Okay. That wasn't into the mics or too much. Yeah. The ability of human beings to understand reality is limited. It's Matt Slick's fucking argument. To be quite honest, Matt Slick has a website. And
I'm going to put an MA on this episode now. You know that, right?
Oh yeah. Wait, no, that's for video games.
Oh.
Is there an interactive version?
No.
Or, never mind.
Oh, no. I mean, mature content warning if we're putting this out as a podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, go ahead.
Whatever. Well, I mean, were we afraid of that before? Should I not be saying fuck and shit and damn?
No.
Whore, bastard, slut?
Keep talking, dude. I got to breathe.
Shit. Crap.
All right, you're done talking.
No. This is exactly like Matt Slick talking points with slightly different buzzwords from time to time. Actually, at the end there, when he was like, "Oh, I didn't ask you for a definition," that's like creationist hearing impaired syndrome of I heard one word in your answer, and so I'm going to run with it. But you can't understand things because you've admitted that your understanding of things is just, in Matt Slick's words, your brain fizzing, which is a bad description of it because fizzing is like bubbles coming out of a liquid as opposed to synapses firing, so it should be your brain sparking. And then he goes, but I don't have that problem because Jesus. It's the weakest piece of bullshit ever. It's a trip into Buzzword City.
All right.
And I just wanted to help.
I deeply appreciate you, and I'm so sorry for cutting you through.
No. No apologies, bruh. That's why we're here.
Yeah, really.
I can speak English.
If people want to come in with apologetics, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. But don't bring that weak ass shit in our house.
You meet people where they're at. If you're going to sit there and just not talk to the person, instead you're talking at the person, then there's no reason to have you in the room. I actually listened to you. You wouldn't give your name, and I listened to you. And then it turned out that you didn't want to actually converse. You didn't want to bring up point and counterpoint. You didn't want to, you don't need to humanize it, but I did. I did because I am a human. And we're almost out of time, and we have 3 calls.
He didn't ask for a point counterpoint, so therefore you lose.
Yeah, what the fuck ever. We have 3 calls, 2 atheists and a theist. Do you want to try and hit them before we go?
What's the theist?
The theist is Josh in Oregon. How's it going, buddy?
Great topic. Hey, Josh.
Hi, gentlemen, Eric and Jamie.
Yes.
Hi. We're a lot calmer now. No worries.
Last caller. First of all, if Jesus Christ were here today, he wouldn't speak in those terms with the laws of contradiction and all of that fancy rhetoric. Jesus, when he was here, when he preached his gospel, he was very straightforward.
And he spoke Aramaic. Different words altogether.
Oh, yes, of course.
Sorry, I'm trying to lighten it.
Yeah, we're just coming down. So
I understand. I hopefully my call will serve as a mental palate cleanser, because that last gentleman was either a fanatic or just a hateful human being.
No, he's a presuppositional apologist. And they're a specific type of yummy. I mean, not everybody likes to go out and have, spicy food, and that's okay. Not everybody has to have spicy food, but sometimes you just want to. You're gonna shit fire later, but man, it's worth it, and it's okay.
Well,
he has a place, man, and it's good. But I want to talk to you.
Well,
and sometimes you shit fire on the air.
So, Josh,
what
do you got?
My point is, if that man were in my church, I would not go to that church. Or if he were my pastor, I don't see any love. I don't see any godliness in those arguments, or even in the man, his voice. Yeah.
Josh, I think I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah.
In here, that when you talk about godliness exemplifying goodness, then that would exclude us, and we do a lot of good stuff too.
I was just going to say, we can agree. We also don't see any godliness in his arguments, or any God for that matter. But in his arguments, not yours.
My son was just born. My wife was pregnant, and we celebrated the birth of our firstborn here.
Congratulations!
Jinx.
Yeah, and I see godliness in my infant, and I know that's not an argument that an atheist might accept, but
Depends on the atheist.
But I do see godliness. I don't see godliness in that man, or maybe I could if I met him and you know, I could shake his hand and determine.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't his best representation of himself.
And Josh, I appreciate you, but I feel bad that we're shit talking this dude and he's not on the air. So let's. What would you want to do? Hit us. We're ready to talk.
I wanted to, I guess, express my feeling that Jesus Christ, that he resurrected, he's real. This isn't just a character in a book.
Okay.
So this isn't just, as that man would have used, kind of a spear. I don't see Jesus as a spear where we're stabbing people, or a sword.
Actually,
he's a shepherd.
Well, in the apocalypse, Jesus has a mouth sword. So, I mean, Jesus did have some pretty violent, tendencies in a few different places. So I wouldn't say that about the character of Jesus, but what I would want to do is hit some very basic pieces with you.
If I can...
Do it.
Yeah,
you do it. I'm talking way too much.
Here. So you started your statement with you wanted to call in to express your feeling that Jesus Christ is a real character, and you talked before when you were distinguishing yourself from EF is the pseudonym he chose for himself. I mean, assuming that was a pseudonym, I don't know what his parents christened him at birth. You said you see godliness in your newborn child. Congratulations again, by the way. Yeah, I recently became an uncle for the third time again. So, but when I look at my nephew, I also see beauty and goodness and all of the warm fuzzies of the human race. But I use those words to describe it, and I'm wondering what, other than a feeling that you have when you think of God and a similar feeling that you have when you think of your child, how would you associate the character of godliness with something other than how you feel about a thing?
Well, I love my wife very much, and as I see it, our child, and we named him Atticus, after Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay.
And I don't know what his friends will call him later in life. Atticus is a very old-fashioned name, but
Attaboy.
I guess my wife and I are old-fashioned. But this child of ours was conceived in love, and we read in the New Testament that God is love. So I make the connection that both my wife and I, loving one another, not just physically. I think the physical part is easy, but we love each other with our minds, with our hearts, legs.
But I mean, it's
feet, our hands.
Oh, sorry to jump in there. We're being a little bit time conscious, and just based on where we've gotten so far, we have a little bit more time for the call. So I'm not kicking you off, but I can already say I want you to call back again next week.
Yeah, no, totally. You need more time.
Yeah. But what you've said so far is we've read that God is love and this is godly. And so I would say, well, you're talking about love. I think your child is lovely.
Sorry,
yeah.
And so if by God you mean a powerful being that created things, I don't know how seeing beauty is the same as seeing a powerful being that created things, like being able to come to that conclusion. Look, I'm right there with you. Humans are great. Yeah. I love humans.
Yeah.
They just got 10 feet taller. They're the best humans.
I don't think we ought to pat ourselves on the back. We're guilty of lies and murder and rape and all kinds of terribleness. Forgive the redundancy.
Terribleness.
Well,
How dare you, Josh? Hanging up on you.
No, our previous caller went way more redundant. So.
I have a request. Before you hang up, I have a request.
No. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, we're not hanging up on you. Sorry. You're good. You're good.
So I actually would like to speak to the note.
Please don't answer calls from that Amish or Hamish. And he's another one, please.
Okay.
That's hurting the show.
So, Josh, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I really do.
We'd like you to call
Hamish,
back to be a good representation of how
what you think. And if you feel that
believers
you're
are
a
not
good
all
representation of that, then that's fine.
are not all EF and Hamish.
Yeah, but Hamish
Not all F and Hamish.
is the Scottish version of several church elders from when I was growing up. He is a Scottish carbon copy. And so some people accuse
Carbon
him
copy.
of, yes, some people accuse him of being fake. I have seen this in life.
Well,
and because of that, I derive this pleasure from being able to let him hang himself with all of the rope that I give him, that we give him.
We do this because we like doing this and we think it's important, but when Hamish calls, Eric is like, oh, this time it's personal, taking off my jacket.
It's just yummy.
Well, that and it provides comfort for people that were in a similar situation with you.
Yeah. But Josh, I do really want to quick speak to what the note is about you. And I would actually like to answer that off air, off this call, and then you can call back in and we'll talk about it. But we do have 2 more calls and we're over time.
Yeah, and then also, can you hold on to the line a little bit? And then are you available to call back in next week?
I can do that.
On the Facebook,
Yes.
the YouTube, the Reddit, the Twitter, the Instagram.
Our call screener is super nice, and we'll get your information.
Yeah,
and,
Chelsea's great.
She is.
Oh, sorry.
I can call next week if that would be best. I actually have a lot to do, and I have a stationary phone, so I'm unable to walk around the house.
Wait, are you saying that you have a newborn son and you don't have all the time in the world?
That's so weird.
Right now. Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Oh, you said he's sleeping right now.
Okay. So, Josh, what we're going to do is we're going to put you on hold, and then the call screener is going to, if you want to give us contact information, I don't know if you do email or Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, whatever, but if that's okay with you, I mean, I don't know if your email is just a spam collector, but...
No.
So can we email you?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool. So we're gonna put you on hold. Our call screener will get, name, number if you'd like. Also, we haven't started doing this yet, but very soon we're gonna start a program where when you call and you get on the air and you're not, EF, then we put you back on hold, and if you want us to mail you some free swag or coasters or something, we do that. So if you'd like that, then you can give like a P.O. box or a mailing address. Eric is excited because I hadn't told him about that yet.
Really? I want swag. Why do we not have swag up here if we have swag?
Well,
we need swag.
Part of the reason we haven't mailed it yet.
I want a mug and a hat and a jacket and like beer cozy. I don't even drink beer. I don't care.
They make wine koozies.
And like
California
right? I know I'm terrible.
Wine
like bracelets.
Well, okay, we're ignoring Josh, who's on the line.
Josh, that makes me happy.
Pay attention
Have
to
a good one, man.
Yes,
you take care of yourself, brother, and we will talk to you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Sorry
you.
for steamrolling you at the end there.
All right.
Okay.
I just steamrolled you. I know.
No,
You okay?
I steamrolling on this show between the hosts.
All right. I do want to get to Neil and James. Are we going to do this? Neil or James? Neil or James? Neil or James? One. Pick
James.
One. James. James, you're on the air with Eric and Jamie. I'm sorry
You win
just had to
because
wait
your
for
name
so
is the
long.
same as mine.
We had to wait for so long, and we don't have much time, but we do want to be able to talk to you. What do you want to talk to us about?
Hey, guys, I'm a first-time caller, but I'm new to atheism.
What's up?
Hey, welcome.
Welcome aboard the reason ship.
Yeah, it's just been a real rough ride. I'm from Mississippi, and I have an extremely religious family, and my family are really sad that I'm an atheist, and it's too bad that they think I'm going to burn forever. But it's kind of
a shame that someone told them that.
With myself. Right? Yeah, I just have to be honest with myself. And but what I really wanted to talk about is the political spectrum of and how it's changing with conservatives feeling, at least historically, feeling like they have to be religious. When if you look at least Orthodox conservatism, although it's more community oriented, and I think it's because a lot of people are going to church, so naturally people are closer to their communities. But there's no religious component of conservatism. So I'm really calling about how to talk to people about how it's okay to be an atheist and be a conservative, because I think especially recently how a lot of people are not caring as much about gay marriage. That component of religious bigotry is kind of falling away, and the lines are blurring between libertarianism and conservatism, which I really think there's becoming a collision of those two ideals right now. But as time progresses, it seems less and less necessary to be religious, and I just want to talk about just how to share that with people, and how it's okay just to not believe stuff until you have reasonable evidence.
Yeah, I think that's good. So I'm not sure how much of a book person you are, but I have a recommendation. I also have an interest in politics, particularly the changing atmosphere of our politics. I just spent far too long thinking of the technical terms in presuppositionalist apologetics. All of my technical terms for political science are gone now. Crap.
Would you like me to step in?
No, I was just making a statement.
Okay, go ahead.
When have I ever been like, oh,
Yeah, I'm not
Eric,
too involved
quick,
in
jump in? No. So there's a book called Fantasyland that's out very recently. It's actually published and finished after the most recent presidential election. And so it focuses on the 500 years of American history from before the Constitution till now, and the history of believing in things and living in a kind of fantasy land, and how that's been a part of our culture since the beginning and exploded both on the left and the right in the 1960s. And so the Republican Party of the United States I would describe now as being controlled by its theocratic faction rather than a conservative faction, because wanting to destroy the government because it's Satan is not a conservative value.
Ultimately, I just want the government to leave me alone. Which I know has really been categorized a lot as libertarian. It's and I'm really upset with kind of what happened in 2016, because you had the shittiest of both choices.
I personally, my politics are a little not there, but if I might, because I really would like to give you my 2 cents too before we finish. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No worries. So I am on a different place in the political spectrum of things.
And that's fine.
He's a fascist. No. Joke. Send your hate mail.
Right? To
Eric.
Jamie at talkingthen.com.
Sorry.
Okay, so what I wanted to say was I want us, you and me and everybody else who just wants to be able to live our lives without religious dogma. Being able, you're throwing me way off, dude. I want us to be able to live our lives without having religious dogma jump in and be that intrusive. I want us to meet on that playing ground. You, me, Christians, Muslims, anybody. I want us to meet there, and then we can argue politics. That's me. Other people take to politics really, really hard. Obviously, being on this show, atheism is the bigger thing for me. But in the separation of religion and government, we can disagree on everything else, but I am there for you. Okay?
Yeah. It's just, I saw something. I was really relieved to see it. As a prominent atheist who's doing this, but David Silverman actually, I think he ascribes to the conservative ideals, and which is not really that much. Like limited government, gun rights, that kind of stuff. It's not too alien. It's not too radical. It's just. Ultimately, I think a lot of true conservatives, not Trump. I don't think he's conservative.
True Scotsman is going to play its way in.
Well, he's not. Yeah. But I kind of feel like we got trolled so hard by Obama that the response was kind of required a bulldog, and people kind of saw him as the bully. that if he was on your side, it could be a good thing.
Well, some conservatives, I think, saw him that way, but his base is the evangelical, the about a third of our country that is evangelical. I was going to jump in and be like, oh, you're conservative, but, you don't want to do everything possible to support the state of Israel to bring about the end times by having as many Jews in Armageddon as possible, right? Because that's...
Oh, yeah.
So there's
I
conservative and
yeah.
controlling faction.
Yeah, no, I do think there's a completely secular, rational reason to support Israel, just because, and Sam Harris outlines this a lot, just because, they're not trying to use children as shields, just really, but completely secular reasons, which I'm not going to even go into. But I really just wanted to, just because I feel like the conservative movement is pushing away a lot of potential voters, just because they feel like you can't be with us because you're a bad person. You're not a nice person if you're a conservative, or excuse me, if you're an atheist. Yeah. And I really can't view it from the same perspective anymore, because I used to be really religious. And I saw atheists as really bad people. But now that I'm an atheist, I realize, hey, I'm not perfect, but I think I'm an okay guy.
James, we get emails from conservative atheists enough that I'm going to ask you for a favor, all right, man? Mail us. Send us a email to mail@talkheathen.com and share what resources you do know, because we do have people that are along different routes, and we do have conservative atheists calling in, or at least emailing us and saying, hey, there's nowhere for me. And at least the best we can do is give you guys a place to be able to be comfortable with each other. And so if you have any resources like that, if you can send them along, we'll send them along wherever we can.
Yeah,
if we're
okay? That'd be great.
And also then we can send you whatever we get from other people.
I'm on an island.
I was going to say, you're in Mississippi. Everyone that sees this clip that is an atheist in Mississippi, particularly if you are a conservative, politically conservative, email us, and Eric will personally go through all of those emails and make sure you're all in touch if you want to be.
I've been so far, Jamie. I've been so far.
And I appreciate that work. So another thing I'd like to say really quickly is I cannot recommend the book Fantasyland strongly enough, because the author talks about yes, my mother voted Republican the entirety of my life, and then that changed in 2016 for exactly the reasons that you're highlighting. Yeah. It's very good. I haven't done the skeptical background on it to the degree that I'd like, but the things I just said. Boom.
It's and I don't even. I think part of what pushed me to this angle is because I'm an engineering major, and it's just it's so data driven, it's so analytical, and it's just really once I get thrown these things that collide with reason just at such a magnificent level. I know some of you, some of the people on Atheist Experience in this show, they talk about believing things for good reason, and even if they're uncomfortable. And what really hurt the most was when now that both of my parents are dead, it just at first I thought, okay, I'll see them in heaven, but it's just tough to.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's probably not the case.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that,
brother.
Yeah.
Hey, James, I'm going to pop you on hold, okay? I'd like to talk to you a little bit more after the show. Is that all right?
And there's, we are trying to wrap up the show, but we don't want to let you go.
Yeah.
Here.
Can I pop you on hold?
And then...
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay. No problem. You take care, brother. All right. So
Grief Beyond Belief is a resource.
You please say the thing. Say the thing.
Well, we're gonna pick him back. Oh, because there are other people, right? He's not. Dealing with death doesn't get easier when you don't believe there's a magic sky wizard solving all your problems. There's Grief Beyond Belief. is a resource for that. There's a Recovering from Religion, I think, also has some resources. I'm not sure how those two are.
Secular Therapy Project
Secular
is
Therapy
a really
Project
great one.
is good for finding.
And there's also the peer support in the Hotline Project.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, I've been saving this one for you, for us. It's about time we got like something to end with, something nice. And so, for our last call of the day,
Neil
from Vancouver. How you doing, man? Thank you for waiting.
Jamie, Eric, how you fellas doing today?
Doing well.
Right, doing all right.
We have a serious call to
Yeah,
address.
I know we don't have very much time, but please tell everybody what you're doing.
Well, I was actually calling because I can hear Hamish calling in all the time asking whether or not atheists, where we get our morals from. And I think that I'm an example of an altruistic type atheist because I am going to be donating my kidney to save my friend's life.
Neil! Sorry for shouting in your ear just now.
Yeah, you realize.
I messaged. Yeah, here. Neil! Could you hear me on Eric's mic?
Yes.
I've messaged you on Facebook. You are
you have.
Excellent.
Yes. Neil.
Thank you.
Well, let him tell the story.
Please.
It's not all about you.
Well, he basically got a hold of me and asked me if because of my presence on social media, asked me if I could find him a donor. And I said, well, I can do one better. I'll try first. And of course, all the tests and procedures have gone well. So it's going to be happening probably in April.
Neil, thank you. And that is true. You can be good without God. And thank you for being an example of that.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you for
It's just
waiting.
one of the things that I do.
Yeah.
No
I'm
problem.
gonna
Enjoy listening to
when
the
we cut this show into clips, I'm gonna take the link to this clip and I'm gonna figure out how I can send it to Ray Comfort.
All right.
And I'm gonna send it to Ray Comfort and be like, yeah, we're atheists because we want to sin and do bad things again because we don't think butterflies are beautiful. Mm-hmm. Here you go, Ray. Here's this.
Well, also, guys, I also champion a blood donor group here in Canada. I have over 200 members in my group.
Champion of blood.
We save over 1,500 people's lives every year.
Dude, plug it. What's your group?
It's a Partners for Life group here in Canada, and it's in honor of Frank Bernstein, Partners for Life group. He was my dad. He was BC's highest donor. And when he passed away, I took up the mantle.
That's awesome, man. Dude, it's nice knowing that we live in a world with people like you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thanks, guys. And I could say the same thing about you guys.
We just yell at people and say fuck a lot.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Neil, you take care of yourself, all right, brother?
Yeah. And keep in touch. We want to hear.
Oh, heck yeah.
Good
We got your
stories.
email.
There is not nearly enough content for atheists that's like, hey, you live in America, you're an atheist, here's something good that's news.
We need to start doing that more.
Well, actually, there needs to be more good news first. But there are things like Neil.
Yeah, well, the more atheists that come out with their fuzzy, warm stories, makes us look better in general.
Yeah, and rabbits don't believe either, so we should have as many fuzzy, warm stories as we can grab.
See, and you even got Jamie to go out in the weeds.
Yeah.
All right, Neil, you take care, all right, my man?
You too, guys.
Stay
We'll
awesome.
Talk to you next time.
Right.
Jamie, I think that's our show. We went over, but I think
That's
we
our show.
actually had a lot of fun.
To the people on the to the people on the line, stay on the line.
We totally. Oh my gosh.
We have a clip,
Phillip.
don't we?
Yes, we do. Phillip
Ah.
is this super amazing guy, and he was the one who sent the fan art that we were super excited about. Hey, Phillip! And we actually got
You are also excellent, but for different reasons.
Yes,
that are
but
more
still
self-serving.
Super
for us,
awesome.
But still, yeah.
And Phillip actually made a Valentine's Day animation for us. And because Valentine's is coming up and we're going to see you afterward, this is the clip. Let's get it up. All right.
All right. Let's see.
So here we go. Right? Got the Cupid going through. And there's us. We're falling down through. Ready?
We did it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Phillip,
We should do like an animated series.
Right?
Yeah, we did it. We got it.
Phillip, you rock, man. Thank you so much.
You're excellent.
Everybody else, you ready?
Yeah. I can't say don't forget to be awesome because that's other people. But
No, we have our own catchphrase.
yeah. You should always remember to be excellent. It's totally different.
Okay, how about this? Ready? We don't hate you.
We just don't believe that the thing. Wait, what?
We don't hate you.
We
just think you're wrong.
disagree with your conclusion.
Ready?
Yeah, hang on. Am I still on with James? Hello? Am I on at all?